Hello! Today you find me a little bleary-eyed. Those of you who follow me on Facebook will know that I'm currently playing Sweaty Eddie in a production of Sister Act. It's going brilliantly, I'm having the best time, I'm a little bit tired, but that's okay to be tired. This week I'm delivering a workshop that I have been doing for a few years now at a school on confidence and self-esteem. I see around 150 kids through the day and hopefully inspire them to have greater self-esteem. And I thought it might be a good topic to talk about on the video this week, and probably what's the most useful tip for ensuring positive self-esteem. And I suppose the important thing is to get across the difference between confidence and self-esteem. I like to think of confidence as what you portray to other people, so how other people perceive you and see you. So confidence is something that you can act. Confidence is something you can fake. You can fake walking into a room and looking and acting confident. Whereas self-esteem is deeper than that. Self-esteem is how you truly feel about yourself. So you can actually have immense confidence and very little self-esteem. However, if you have great self-esteem, confidence will naturally accompany that. I've always been confident. I've never ever had an issue with confidence. And it was only a couple of years ago that I realised that despite having confidence, knowing that I was confident, I actually had very poor self-esteem. And that realisation was a massive shock to me. I really didn't anticipate that. And it took me on a journey of self-discovery, and I'm very pleased to say that I now have great self-esteem and I like the person that I currently am and I like the person that I have become. Once you understand the difference between confidence and self-esteem, the next thing that I would suggest that has probably the biggest impact on our self-esteem is the internal dialogue. The things that we tell ourselves. Now, again, only more recently discovered that not everyone has an internal dialogue. Now, this freaked me out completely, as my internal dialogue is so strong and never shuts up, or rarely shuts up. And then I discovered that actually some people don't have an internal dialogue. These people tend to be quite spontaneous, very reactive, and they are very good at living in the moment and just making decisions like that, because they don't have to have that conversation with themselves. Your internal dialogue will either help or hinder you. So I like to call them the inner critic and the inner coach. Now, I would imagine that if you have an internal dialogue, you will know the inner critic well. The inner critic is that voice that berates you, puts you down. One of my terms that I regularly heard myself saying was, I kept calling myself an idiot. So I'd do things and think, oh, you idiot, Rob. I wouldn't be saying it out loud, it would be in my head. It's my internal dialogue. And that was sort of my default setting. I didn't really understand where that came from, because it's something I would never say to anyone else. And then I started to recognise that if it's something I wouldn't say to someone else, why am I saying it to myself? Because surely I'm as good as anybody else around me. And if I'm kind enough not to call someone else an idiot, then I should be kind enough to myself not to call myself an idiot. Yes, I do some idiotic things sometimes. We all do. However, that doesn't make us an idiot. So what I get people to focus on is, first of all, recognise the inner critic. Get to know what are the default settings, what are the things that you will say to yourself that don't help, the things that tend to put you down. And once you become aware of those things, you can start to challenge them. There is a belief that this negative self-talk actually comes from childhood, comes from primary caregivers, brothers, sisters, teachers, and that actually negative self-talk never comes from you. So it's not actually you, it's other people that have influenced you growing up. I quite like that concept. If that's the case, then when the negative talk comes in, you can actually then challenge it and say, well, okay, that's your opinion, but I'm choosing not to agree with that opinion. It might be the negative self-talk does have a point and might be worth listening to. But actually, if it's berating, it's not going to help you. So then it's about encouraging your inner coach to step up. And your inner coach is that voice that actually congratulates you when you do something well. I'm sure you're the sort of person who, if someone around you does something well, you will praise them, you will congratulate them. There is nothing more motivating than being praised and thanked and congratulated. So why on earth wouldn't you do it for yourself? You wonder why you're demotivated, demoralised. The chances are that you're not praising yourself. You're not congratulating yourself. There's a part of you inside that when you do something good, you want to be congratulated. And there's nothing wrong with congratulating yourself, giving yourself a pat on the back. And the more you develop that, the more it becomes a default setting. And the more it's a default setting, then the greater your self-esteem will be, and the better you will be all round, the happier you will be all round. And of course, when you're happy, not only you benefit, but everybody around you benefits. So really start working on identifying this self-talk. If you recognise your default is critic, then start challenging that critic. Start proving that critic wrong. And make a point when you do something well, it doesn't matter how small that thing is. Take a moment to recognise it and congratulate yourself, praise yourself, thank yourself. Honestly, I find there's nothing more motivating than a thank you. And if you're not getting it from around you, then thank yourself. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it will benefit you so much in the long run. That's my advice for improving your self-esteem, and it will absolutely affect your self-worth. Develop your inner coach, begin to silence your inner critic. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please press the like button and remember to subscribe. Follow me on the social media links, which are in the description box below this video. And I will catch up with you next week. Until then, take care. All the very best. Bye.